All right, welcome to your Thursday Math Minute, the only Math Minute guaranteed to be on Thursday and to be no more than 10 minutes long. This morning I want to talk about order of operations. What is order of operations? Let's say you had some expression like, 15 divided by 3 times 6 minus 4 squared, and you wanted to evaluate that expression. You have a couple different options for what you can do. One option you can do is you can just move from left to right, which makes sense because that's how we read things in English. So the first thing I would do is 15 divided by 3, which of course is 5. So now this is 5 times 6 minus 4 squared. And then the next thing I would do is 5 times 6, which is 30. And then the next thing I would do, if I'm just reading from left to right, is I would do 30 minus 4. 30 minus 4 is 26. And finally, 26 squared is 676. And so I have evaluated this expression to 676. Now maybe some of you at home are thinking, but that's not what that expression is equal to. Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. So if we took 15 divided by 3 times 6 minus 4 squared, how could we interpret this instead? If you're familiar with Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, you know, oh wait, there's some kind of particular order that I'm supposed to do this in. So if I do my exponents before anything else, I'm actually supposed to square that 4 to get 16. So that's actually what I'm going to start with. And then the 15 divided by 3 times 6, I can work on that next. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 6, we've already said, is 30. So 5 times 6 gets us 30. 15 divided by 3 is how we ended up getting 5. And then, of course, 30 minus 16 gets me an answer of 14. And so now I have a question, right? Is this expression supposed to be 676, or is this expression supposed to be 14? Or, in fact, there are even other ways to do it. So I said a second ago, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The M in there, some of you know, stands for multiplication. The D for division. But up here, I did my division before I did my multiplication. So was I actually supposed to multiply the 3 times 6 first and get 18, and then 15 divided by 18 is some weird decimal, 0.83, repeating on and on forever, and then that's what I subtract by 16? How are we supposed to figure it out? What's the right answer? Well, I'm not going to tell you that there is a right answer here, but I am going to tell you that there's a conventional answer, and that convention is Pemdas. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but we're actually going to say what that means. You can think of order of operations like a set of instructions you're going to give your calculator. We need all of our calculators and computers to give us back the same answers when we type in expressions, so we need what's called an algorithm, a set of steps or a set of priorities we can tell to whomever or whatever is performing the algorithm. I say whomever because humans were the original algorithm. We have to be able to perform the operations in the same order as well so that we get the same answers as each other. It's about communication. Number 1 is going to be parentheses, although really we could just say grouping symbols. So in fact, I like to say GEMDAS, not just PEMDAS, because any grouping symbols will do. Parentheses or other grouping symbols. Whether it's brackets or braces or parentheses really makes no difference whatsoever. Anything that we have those grouping symbols around is going to get our number 1 priority. That's where we always begin. And then after that, we're going to give our number 2 priority to exponents. And so we'll evaluate any exponents after we evaluate our grouping symbols, anything raised to the 2nd power or the 3rd power or so on. And then after that, in the same step, we get multiplication and division. They have the same priority. They're both number 3 priority. And so to decide what order to do them in, whoops, I forgot to write it, multiplication and division. To decide what order to do them in, we simply look at them left to right. And so you do actually move left to right for multiplication and division. Just because the M comes before the D in Pemdas does not mean that your multiplication always has to come before division. And then finally we get addition and subtraction. Once again, just like with multiplication and division, they get the same level priority there, both level 4. And so once again, we're simply going to do them in order from left to right. So that's Pemdas. That's how we want to evaluate expressions. There are a few wrinkles in there that I'll show you. For example, I've got this expression up here, 32 plus 7 squared minus 5 times 2. Because I know that addition and subtraction are going to get my last priority, I can do everything in between my addition and subtraction signs. And then at the very end, just make sure I do addition and subtraction from left to right in that order. So 32, of course, is just 32, but 7 squared we know to be 49. 5 times 2 is 10, and that's going to simplify the number of steps. That's going to reduce the number of steps that I have to do to evaluate these expressions, and in that case I can get 71. So that has been your Thursday Math Minute, guaranteed to be on Thursday, guaranteed to be no more than 10 minutes long. This one looks like it's clocking in at just under 6 minutes, but that's completely a guess, and so it could be wrong. See you guys later.